Right, hello YouTube. This is
again.
take 3. We had some technical issues this morning. One of which a BT man cutting the line through Brian's internet. But we're back, and the other one was just me messing up. So right, here we go. Starting the audio recording. Brilliant.
I'm the lovely Debbie McGee, and you're listening to the Deception Podcast. Boom, 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 boom.
How goes that?
I love that.
Hello and welcome to the Deception Podcast, attempting to make an audio show out of a visual art form since 2013. My name is Jonty Sparrow. Through the medium of the internet, I have two fine gentlemen sitting opposite me, Jordan O'Grady.
Hello.
And also guest host this week, Brian Watson.
Hello.
Good, glad you're both here. Before we get cracking with the news, I thought we would have a quick chat with Brian, because not that people wouldn't know who you are, of course, but if they possibly didn't know, how would they know you, Brian? What are you into? Who are you? Why are you here?
Who are you? Who are you? Well, I cut my teeth on card magic, but I'm mostly known for cups and balls now, I guess. So started magic 8 years old. Mostly close up and cards, went into mentalism for about 17 years, but throughout all of that I've always done the cups and balls, and I've sort of come back full circle to that, really. So that's mostly what
you sort of definitely becoming the sort of the go-to guy for cups and balls, aren't you? So, and it's not just
tag you on Facebook if there's a cups and balls question.
It's not just performance as well, is it? You're a collector of sets as well, is that right?
I have a few sets, yeah.
Mrs. loves it.
She does not. But really, my excuse for that, my reasoning is, I come up with a lot of new moves and sleights, so I have to test it with different types and shapes of cups.
Oh, that's very good, isn't it? Yeah, you covered your back there. That's wicked. Right, we'll dive on anyway. We'll move on to this week's Magic News.
Traveling the world of prestidigitation and bringing back the interesting bits. This is Magic News.
Right, Magic News this week. There's not much of it, to be honest with you, but we found a few things that we thought were interesting. First of all, Tellar, as one half of Penn and Teller, has been interviewed by Vanity Fair. One thing I found out recently is that Tellar is now his name, as in that's it. He's got his name changed by Depol.
No surname.
Or whatever the American equivalent is, and he's now Tellar. So, well, you would think you have to have a surname.
It is. It's Ella. It's Mr. T, isn't it?
So is T Ella. Or, yeah, I suppose it is, yeah. But, I mean, it's a fluff piece, to be honest. It's just a nice interview with him. There's not really much news there. But what is quite nice is he talks about Fool Us as being... it doesn't really matter that you're fooling them, so to speak. It's definitely more of a sort of medium to get magic on TV.
But is that fair, though?
What do you mean?
Well, why should it... The whole programme is based around fooling them, and now they're telling us that it doesn't matter if they do or you don't.
Well, yeah. So the one we were thinking about, the one we were talking about a little bit before we... good, real words. Before we started recording, was Kostya Kimlat performing a few weeks ago, who fooled them with his cull, his... what do they call it? I can't come up with the name before. Roadrunner cull, yeah.
You did that on take 1 as well.
No, I know, I can never remember the name of it. So, Roadrunner cull. Goes past too quick for me to remember. This is a bit of an issue then, yeah, because it fooled them. There's no way that Tellar doesn't know what culling is.
Right, yeah.
And most probably doesn't know what Kostya Kimlat is doing the Roadrunner cull.
What do you think, Brad? Do you agree with him?
I think so, yeah. I mean, Kostya's known for that. And it's a Roadrunner call thing. I don't know why. I just a picture then of Michael Amar on a cliff top with some dynamite and but no, he's known for it, and he's very, very good at it. He's brilliant at it. So and as soon as I saw it, I knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
But I think it's a bit like the X Factor, isn't it? That Penn and Teller are sort of being the entertainment as well and playing off the contestants for the public. They just packaged it in an interesting way.
Yeah. Which
is good.
And there are...
There's no way they've fooled them, I don't think.
No, I don't think so. And there are people who've been on it, especially in the UK one, there are people who went on it deliberately attempting to fool them. That was definitely the aim. Yeah, there are very much quite a few performers who've just gone, this is going to be a decent bit of TV time. It's well put together. It's well produced. You're not going to be made to look like an idiot, Yeah. This could be a good...
they've shown that it doesn't matter if they fool anyone or not, because cups and balls, they do it with clear cups.
Yeah.
And loads of magicians have been complaining about that, but it doesn't make any difference. They still fool people with it.
Yeah, they do.
They
Still
open
gets
up with a
me.
they open up with a floating ball saying this is a trick with a piece of thread.
Yeah.
And they perform a floating ball that fools you.
I think it makes it better, or that's the thing you see. I think they only reveal stuff if there's a reason for revealing it. And I genuinely think with the floating ball is that the fact that they say this is just a piece of thread, it makes it better almost. I don't know. Although it does give it a slight sort of puzzle aspect to it. But for the most part,
Tellar do his floating ball live.
I haven't seen him do it live.
Red
No.
ball. Oh, it's fantastic.
But it is fascinating that it's just one piece of thread, and you're constantly sitting there going, "Oh, so where is it now?" But then I do that with illusions. Whenever they're sticking the swords in the box, I'm thinking, "All right, well now she's doing this, and now she's like that, and now she's got her head behind her legs," and I do that anyway. All right, good. But it's anyway
sat inside of Jonty at Blackpool. He ends up with his legs wrapped around the back of his head. What are you doing?
This is what she looks like. This is what she looks like now. All right, well, we'll pop that in the show notes for you to have a read of anyway, so that's good. Next, moving on. Card trick for Corbyn. This is card trick for Jeremy Corbyn. On YouTube, a relatively viral video by a magician by the name of James Went. I don't know James. Do you know James at all?
Nope.
No, name doesn't ring a bell.
Has it got now?
23,771, I think, off the top of my head. So this is, at first, when I first read the story that a Welsh magician was doing a politically based trick, I thought it was friend of the show, Gareth Shoulder, because he's both Welsh and incredibly political. But it's not, it's James Went doing it, and he's doing a
Sam the Bell.
a story routine regarding the new Labour leader, Jeremy
Politics
Corbyn.
using nothing more than a deck of cards to talk about our current Prime Minister and everything else that's going on too.
So, sorry, I just played a clip of it then, guys. You wouldn't have heard that, would you? Sorry. So this is, but basically, I mean, obviously, we're not getting into the politics of it, but I want to think it's quite nice here that he's very quickly put this together. You know, this came out the 15th of September, so it was only a day after the announcement of the I think so. The only thing I can assume is that he was pretty, because let's be honest, he was a bit of a shoo-in anyway, wasn't it, Corbyn? So maybe he's been working on this for a week on the idea that he knows he's going to get in. And,
I think he's been quite clever because he's seen an opportunity and just really quickly gone for it and got so many views on YouTube and everything. But as a story deck, I liked it because it was short and punchy. It didn't go on, and you ran down 4 floors and cut the cards 4 times and deal 15 out.
Yeah, it does. He doesn't actually do a full deck, does he? Which I think is fine, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think there is something to be said about getting through the whole deck as being part of the effect. But I think in this case, it's more it's less a story deck and more a series of changes and appearances and things like that, as opposed to a true story deck, perhaps. Because there is, I mean, Bill Malone always makes a joke about it in his, doesn't he? Where he's like, oh, and he walked along and played cards and what was it? Or he walks down the street and goes down the 47314 street. The sum you just have to get rid of. And makes a joke about it, and that's fine. But for me, a lot of the time, there are points
when we mess about with it and play it with a shuffle deck.
Yeah, play with a shuffle deck blind and see how far you get. It's a really good game. If you're a group of magicians, shuffle a deck and then see how far you can get into the story. But yeah, there's always points in it where you are just sort of getting rid of some cards, I think, and it usually goes down to them. They're playing cards or.
The bellhop routines around though the last couple of months. Do you find yourself getting tagged in them all, Brian, on Facebook as well?
No, not really. I don't do.
See, I know I don't. I don't do them, but I got more. So that one guy, a young guy, doing it on a pool table.
Yeah.
I got more people share that with me. Saying, oh, John Disbarrow, I bet you can't do this. They always put that, I bet you can't do this. But the problem is, how do you answer that? Because you can't go, well, of course I can. It's dead easy. You know what I mean? You've got to kind of go, oh, yeah, really good, isn't it?
I get it with balloons a lot as well. There's just been a big Hulk that I've been tagged in about 4 or 5 times.
What, a modelling balloon thing?
Wearable.
Yeah.
I saw that, yeah.
And they go, I bet you can't do this.
Yeah. Make me one of these up. All right. Give me 5 hours.
Give me 5 hours, 100 quid.
So I'll tell you what I liked about it as well is it had other stuff like the acetates and the
we on the
Jay's,
previous take when you got cut off, Joshua Jay's deck. What's it called? Do you know the deck of? And it's like 52 of those basically.
This is going to seem like a bit of a pointless conversation now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the
Joshua
Vanishing Ink brought out an Omni deck, but where the cards are separate. It's basically 52 Aztec cards, and I can't think what it's called. But yeah, it looks like it's one of those. Yeah, and that's a nice finish. And he says something about there's going to be Prism deck. Yeah, there we go.
Prism deck. There you go.
That there's now going to be sort of transparency in politics or something is the punchline, isn't it? The one thing I will say is I think he stumbles over a couple of the if we're being finicky, he stumbles over a few of the punchlines. Like there's one bit where he says today produces a 2, and I think you have to enforce the fact that it's today. You know, I think he just kind of waltzes over the fact that we'll see what's happening today, and deals out a 2. And I think the connection maybe doesn't quite hit home, you know, unless you really sort of forcefully. You almost have to do it like a cheesy gag, a little bit for me. You have to kind of go today.
Is it me now?
Go on, yeah, we're picking up where we left off. We had a cut there, but we'll pick up where we left off. Come on.
I don't think that's too bad if it's a little bit contrived with a story deck, because I like the idea of a story deck being improv. I used to do Eric Mead's Night at the Improv, which you look at the cards in front of you first. So it's like a stand-up routine. You look at the cards and then try and work something out with them and then do it. I think it's a bit obvious when you just turn the cards over as you say it.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I suppose that's the magical bit of it. I mean, obviously there's changes and things, but the magical bit of it is that the cards are sort of appearing as you need them, I guess.
Yeah.
I suppose there's a few ways to play it, isn't there? You can either play it that way, or you can play it as like a memorized deck. Or you can just sort of play it for laughs, really, not really sort of acknowledge the fact that there's magic happening.
That, even though he's shuffling
them, yeah.
So much, then why, you know, he's still managing to pull a story out of it.
I think perhaps we can sometimes forget that there is magic. There is magic there, isn't there? Really, we see full shuffles and just kind of blitz over them.
I suppose,
maybe,
like Brian said, it depends which way you want to play it. If you've already got your story in your head and your deck's already set up, and you want to pretend that you are, you know, that you're not prepared, and you go in. So there's this man, and putting a jack down. You know.
Yeah. Because I've seen ones that are quite nice where it starts like you're doing that, like you're saying the card after it's gone down. So you go, let's see, we've got a Jack. Okay, get a guy called Jack, and he goes to the 53 club or whatever. But then as you go, you start saying things quicker and quicker, and by the end of it, you're saying it before the cards go down. You know what I mean? It's sort of like a slow sort of development of it. So.
I thought you were going to learn your routine again with Aaron.
Yeah, we keep meaning to, but it's getting him to turn up, as you can see from the fact he's not here again. But yeah, we keep meaning to learn our one again. We did quite a good where we have half a deck each and kind of go back and forth between each other. That always did quite well. Right, final story then. It's not really magic, but I still think it's worth talking about. Is that Paul Zerdin has been announced as America's Got Talent winner 2015. So first of all, congratulations to Paul. Fantastic win. He was really good. We spoke about it briefly on the show last week because we were recording just after the finals had been recorded. So we saw some of the performances.
But we didn't know the result.
But we didn't know the result yet. So now we've got the result. Paul won.
Do we know where Piff came?
He wasn't top 3. The only ones I heard were Oz Perlman was 3rd. And then, I don't know, some singer or something was 2nd, and then Paul won it. So, Brian, did you see much of these?
I didn't see any of them.
Oh.
I haven't caught it, but...
Good.
One thing... I've prepared well. One thing that strikes me is that there seems to be a lot of people from the States coming here and entering competitions.
Yeah.
We seem to be going there and winning. But if it's a ventriloquist, I think you've got a very slim chance of winning in the UK.
I can't.
Because of the Vegas shows.
It does sell well for Vegas, but also I can't think of a ventriloquist on Britain's Got Talent ever doing particularly well.
Won last year, Brian, the ventriloquist. Can you remember? Apparently, he's got a Vegas show.
It's Fater. Terry Fater is his
Terry
name.
Fater.
Yeah.
In the States, yeah.
So 2 ventriloquists within a couple of years winning it in the States. I can't imagine a ventriloquist winning in this country. I really can't.
That's what I mean. Yeah, but the Vegas shows, they can carry that.
Well, yeah.
I'd like to see Nina Conti.
Yeah, she could do well. The thing is for me is that I saw somebody put on a Facebook page about this, saying, "Oh, Paul Zerdin's great. Always loved him. Can't wait to see you back in Panto again next year." He ain't coming back for Panto.
He's not coming back to Panto, is he?
He's just got what, $500,000? What is it? $1 million or something? $1 million.
$1 million.
A show in Vegas. He'll be on Lenihan. He'll be on.
Yeah.
He'll be on. Jimmy Fallon. All them. He ain't that. And that's the thing I think with variety in this country is we limit it to End of the Pier and Pantos.
Yeah.
Whereas in the States, they have a city built for it.
Yeah.
Called Vegas,
We've got Blackpool.
Well, that's what I mean. We've got End of the Pier stuff. You can go into that. Paul Zerdin used to be on TV a fair bit, did the Royal Variety, things like that. But will have made his living doing corporate appearances and Panto for the last 10, 15 years.
We could change Doncaster, Brian.
We could have
the strip.
Light it up. So I don't blame the guy for going over there and doing it. Everything, there'd be no balls working. I don't blame the guy for going over there and doing it, and I think it says a lot that two ventriloquists can win it. Yeah, I think in this, I apologise if there's any ventriloquists listening. They've been on Britain's Got Talent. I can't recall any of them, and I could only imagine that any ventriloquist shown in Britain is going to come onto the steptoe music, and you know what I mean. When they have halfway through each episode, they go, "But it wasn't all good this week," and then it shows you Simon Cowell rolling his eyes as somebody walks on, and I think we don't give variety the respect it deserves in this country anymore, and we look at it through rose-tinted specs, and we remember how the brilliant days of vaudeville and the brilliant days of variety. Yeah, but when actual people come with variety acts, we go.
I agree with that, and I think one of the problems is, particularly Jordan will sort of know this in Yorkshire. I mean, I'm Lincolnshire born and bred, but Yorkshire had loads and loads of working men's clubs.
Yeah.
And that's where variety acts came up. I mean, you could see Tom Jones, you could see Shirley Bassey, all them kind of people at working men's clubs years ago. But they're gone now, and people have had to find other venues to try and work.
Yeah.
It don't have to anymore, does it?
No, and it's killed it.
Yeah.
And so I think that's now why things have moved to TV. But another problem is people get really, really picky and selective because they see the best people in the world on TV every week.
Yeah,
and then when they see live stuff, they go, "I wasn't very good."
Yeah.
Because,
I think comedy clubs are a little bit in, though, aren't they?
Well, they are, but that's very much. I mean, that's pretty much just stand up. You will occasionally get like a comedy singer, a guy who does like funny songs or a girl who does funny songs, but. I don't think you get an event walk up to a stand up.
Is there anywhere in Doncaster? There's no comedy clubs in Doncaster, is there?
That's because you're not funny.
Everybody pinches everything. If we had stuff in Doncaster,
I don't know. The other thing I think is that
there'd be people waking up in Doncaster with an Eiffel Tower in the bedroom. Must have pinched it.
The thing with variety, I think, is that. I don't know. Okay, there was a programme on TV a while back. I think it was called Jason Manford's Saturday Night In or something. I don't know. Jason Manford presenting a show with a few stand-ups. There'll be a band on each week, and maybe one or two variety acts. He did quite well. And there was one night where I forget their names. It was two Japanese guys, and I think they're called something like the Gamuchi Brothers or something like that. And they do. It's a little bit like Men in Coats, that kind of act, very sort of physical comedy. They pull things out of a suitcase and do little gags and sort of visual gags like that sort of, that kind of thing. That was just for the video people, and it went viral. This clip of them went all over Facebook, all over YouTube. You've got to watch this. This is absolutely hilarious. None of the stand-up comics from that week went viral, and sometimes I think it kind of shocks the British public when a bit of variety comes on and he's good, And I think I think it just kind of I think we need to give it a bit more recognition, a bit more sort of space to breathe a little. I think. Anyway, that's me little rant over. We'll move on. This week's Sounds Like You're Playing With Yourself comes from Brian Watson's Cockroach Catcher. First of all, before we play it, do you want to tell us about the effects?
I'm not sure if I want to. It depends on what's coming next. It uses a paddle. I used to do the thing with the phone where the spider ends up on the back of the hand.
Oh, yeah.
And I love it. It's brilliant. But it was a brand new phone at the time, and it got.
You don't mind me
knocked out
showing
my hand.
this, do you, Brian?
No, not at all. No. Yeah, that's cool. So those paddles are made in resin, actually,
Right.
not plastic. So they're all handmade by me. And yeah, my phone went sort of south, and I managed to catch it. But I thought I'm going to come up with something that doesn't use my phone for this. And
Right.
I made it all self-contained in a little tiny bag, so you don't have any problems about carrying it around and stuff as well.
Okay, cool. So it's a paddle routine, but then it has a
durable
kicker ending similar to is it Boris the Spider? It's called My Pet Boris or something on the phone.
Yeah.
Is it?
My Pet Boris on the phone, isn't it? And,
all right, cool. But it's paddles. They're almost having like a bit of a resurgence at the minute, aren't they? I know. What's the other one? The
Turbo Stick.
Turbo Stick is sort of become sort of big again. There it is. Yeah, he's got everything, Jordan. You can put his hands on any trick. Any trick that's come out in the last sort of 5-10 years, he's got it right next to him. So paddles are big at the minute, and from what I see, this has gone down incredibly well. Cockroach. It's been out for a while now, hasn't it? And people love it.
Yeah.
So
It's been out about 3 years now.
yeah.
So.
But here we go. Anyway, this is. I'll be honest with you. Jordan's took a little bit of liberties here with it, and I think it's because you're here with us today. I'm going to let him off.
All right.
But here it is. This week, Sounds Like You're Playing With Yourself comes from Brian Watson's Cockroach Catcher. It sounds like you're playing with yourself.
So you're going to explain that it's a cock catcher, and you show it both sides. An alternative way of doing it, if you want to, is you can hold it this way, and you can just show it there. So the first thing that I want you to practice, if you've never done this before, is to just simply push with the thumb.
There he goes.
I might have edited.
We don't. To be honest with you, I don't normally allow that because it's normally good. They're normally good enough on their own. But I thought, now, seeing as you're here, we'll leave that in. Right, let's do this. This week's Mass Debate, we asked you about wedding fairs. Are they a necessity for finding wedding work? Excuse me. Do you pay to attend them? What amount of your work is generated by them? Any thoughts? Funny stories and anecdotes were welcome. So we'll read out our comments and then we'll have a chat between the three of us about these. So Alan Morrison said, "I have never attended any. I performed at one wedding, and word of mouth let me land more work at them. I can see how they would help though, and I can't say that I never will." Jack Brister said, "Some are amazing, but some are almost awful. Are also awful. I did one show where there were 50 exhibitors and only 2 brides came in all day, but I've also done some where I've taken literally dozens of bookings on the spot. I've never paid full price for a stand though, claiming that because it's just me, full price would be ludicrous. All in all, I think that they're a great way to break into the market and an easy way to meet people who are already in the business and get some referral work going, but you need to tread carefully and select your shows with care." One of the things I've noticed about this before we read the others is that the pricing thing really, really varies. I mean, I've had some
wedding fair.
Yeah, so not so much how much it costs, but how we as magicians approach pricing. Because I've had quite a few people say, "Yes, I'll buy a stand." I've had a few people say, "I wouldn't pay full price." I've had a few people say, "I won't have a stand, but I'll walk around and just pay a little for that." I've had some people that say, "I won't pay at all," and I've had some people that say, they pay me to be there as entertainment. So that's one of the main things I want to talk about in a moment. But we'll move on. Mark Waddington has put, "As far as I'm concerned, wedding fairs are a massive necessity if you plan to do wedding magic. I do, on average, 15 to 20 fairs a year. The reasons are simple." So it is quite a lot, yeah. "It allows me to meet my potential customer and talk to them, understand their needs, show them what I can do, and also it allows me to decide if I actually want to be part of their wedding. Nothing worse than being blindly hired for a wedding and turning up to realise that you can't see eye to eye with the couple." That's an interesting point, that.
That it is. Can I just jump in there as well?
Yeah, of course.
Though? And I know Mark, gets a lot of work, and I know he's out there working all the time, but exactly the same can be said for word of mouth gigs, or, sorry, not necessarily word of mouth, but seeing you at a job.
Yeah.
You know, if you're at a wedding and there's a couple there that's going to get married, it's only the same point.
Well, yeah, I suppose it is, yeah, but as opposed to cold calls, perhaps it's better. You can use a fair as an opportunity to invite your couples to come and have a chat and discuss their day too, if you don't have a chance to meet with them, or if they live too far away, if you're convenient, for you to conveniently meet for them. That's a good idea, yeah.
That is a good idea.
I won't be lying to you, I don't do much wedding work, I never have really. Most of my stuff was always corporate, so I never did much of this meeting the couple beforehand. Is that a big thing, is it?
Nearly all. I would say a lot of my work's wedding work.
Yeah.
And I do offer it. And this year I've been out and met quite a few couples beforehand.
Yeah.
I've even been out and met a couple for a wedding next year that have already seen me at a wedding.
Right.
But they just wanted to discuss things face to face and have a little chat about what would work for them.
Because we're planning a wedding at the moment. And
do you need a magician?
I've got a few.
Like wedding with you.
But we haven't really I've booked a band. I haven't met with them. Heard a few of their songs on YouTube. We've got to go and taste the food. But apart from that, I've kind of done everything sight of seen, really. I wouldn't have thought it's a thing, really, to meet everybody. I can't be arsed with that. I just email everyone now. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I do, but some brides aren't like that, are they?
They do like to sort of see. I suppose with the problem, I don't know how much laymen realise this, but there's very little sort of vetting in magic, is there? Do you know what I mean? You can buy a Svengali deck and a thumb tip and call yourself a magician. So maybe they're aware of that and kind of really want to see what you're doing. I don't know. You
can buy a set of decks and call yourself a DJ, though, can't you?
Well, yeah, very much so. Yeah, but normally. Yeah, true, fair point, actually. Yeah, I mean, we're not having, like I say, we're having this band.
This is the microphone.
Yeah, we're having this band who you can hear online, but yeah, you wouldn't really hear a DJ, would you? Apart from seeing them at another job, I imagine a lot of DJs' work is word of mouth, or people seeing them in places.
A lot of them are already at the venue as well, aren't they?
Yeah. Paul Gordon says, I used to do wedding fairs eons ago. But I realised I was becoming free entertainment at the fairs. I decided to charge the organisers as opposed to paying for my stand. That's
really?
It. That's quite amazing to me, really, because surely people who...
I'd like to know how many wedding fairs you get hired for, Paul.
People who do cakes are just free cake people. The DJ's playing free music. I think that's amazing. I say, if it worked for you, it worked for you, but... I don't know. Brian, do you do many wedding fairs? Is weddings much of a area for you?
I've done weddings previously. Not many, but I have. I've never done a wedding fair, but I've done trade shows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the principles of trade shows, it is a trade show, isn't it, basically?
Well, yeah, pretty much.
Selling yourself rather than a company.
Yeah. I mean, the worst experience I've had was for my psychotherapy business, and it's Brian Watson Associates. And I sent them all the details through for the stand.
Cheeky little plug.
Yeah, no. I got there, and this big banner across the thing, they spelt it wrong, and it says Brian Watson a Saucy Cats. So, but more people came up and spoke to me and went, "Do you know that spell?" I went, "Yeah."
Saucy Cats, I like that. But all right, we'll move on.
Mark, you want show to plug your work, Brian?
Yeah, it's bad, isn't it?
Mark Bennett has said, I remember a few years ago, back in 2006, I booked a stand at the National Wedding Show in Birmingham. The cost of doing it was £1,200 for 3 days, over 10,000 potential wedding clients. Now, I've done trade shows for other companies in the past, but this time I was on my own. It was 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. But like a dealer or a Blackpool or any big convention, if you left for a wee, you could possibly lose a sale. Lose a booking. That was a hard slog. The business next to me kept saying...
He
weed himself all weekend, stunk. The business next to me kept saying, don't you do more than those 3 tricks? To which I replied, F off. But over those 3 days, I took £4,000 in deposits, non-refundable after 24 hours, and 12 grand in work. So I can definitely see the potential in wedding shows. I did do smaller shows, but I hated them. So there you go. That's so in a weekend, he's got a year's work, pretty much,
Yeah.
It's Well, they say, do you do more than those 3 tricks? No, I don't. I have about 5 tricks, I think, that I do at tables, 5 or 6, and at a wedding fair, I'd do 2 of them, over and over again, to every single person who walked up to me. That's right. Surely that's how you do it. You do the best.
By the end of it, you'd be shit at the Bengali day.
Well, But that's surely that's what you do. You're not sitting there.
You could do with a thumb tip.
You're not sitting there pulling stuff out of your bag and say, "Oh, I'll give this a go." You're going to be doing you know what I mean? You're going to be doing your best material, surely.
You always get you probably always get the brides walking around and grooms trailing behind.
Yeah. Holding the bags.
Come on then, mate. Show me your best trick and I'll book you.
Best trick, yeah. So what would you do? What's your go? What they are? That's a good point. What's your go-to thing at a wedding fair? What do you do if somebody comes up and says, "Go on then"?
I'll be honest with you. I don't do a lot of wedding fairs.
All right. Well, what would it be? Do you think?
I like a good old Omnideck.
Yeah. Yeah. So what? Well, that's not. You're not just going to say, "Yeah, look at that clear box. That's magic, in it." What?
Ambitious card.
So you do a few phases of an ambitious. Yeah.
Little slice of hand, a couple of little shitty jokes.
Yeah.
He's really selling himself here.
Yeah.
Couple of shitty
blow on
jokes.
that. Blow on that.
Yeah,
No, the clean mouth.
Powder. Let's book him. Oh, sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. Staying in. What about you, Brian? You said you don't do many of them, but what would you do? See, so here's a question then. At trade shows, which could apply for wedding fairs, do you have like a little stand set up for cups and balls, or would you do sort of more sort of walk aroundy stuff?
I used chop cup at trade shows.
Right. Okay.
It's quicker. It's punchier.
Yeah.
And it gets to the final loads quicker.
And you've got like a little sort of high stand setup thing, have you?
No, I get them to build the table. I just have specs, and they build it onto the edge of the stand.
Right. Okay.
Preferably on a corner if you can.
Right. Okay.
But also, I'll sometimes get them to make stress balls as final loads.
Sure, with their name on or whatever. Yeah, definitely.
So I can chuck them out and stuff like that.
That's a good bit of branding, yeah, like that.
Yeah, at a wedding fair, I would probably do something like Alex Helms's Between the Palms, because you can get them to put one hand on each and put the card in. So they've got to be
something involving them as a couple, maybe like an anniversary waltz or what's John Allen's one, the wedding trick, I think he calls it, which is similar to.
He does one with the cut-out heart.
The heart post-its. Yeah, it's I can't think what the trick's called that it's similar to.
Don't know.
It's the Chicago, like the grandpa cards. The cards, all the different backs. It's Gemini Twins. That's what I'm thinking of. It's similar sort of thing to Gemini Twins, but it's very good for weddings. Final one to Phil Taylor. My work mainly comes through my website and referrals. I know a few Magic friends that do a lot of business through wedding fairs, though. Maybe it's something to explore in the future. I
definitely think it is. If you're a full-time professional and you're wanting more work and you're wanting to get into the wedding market, then I would definitely go and do it personally.
If you're a full-time professional, I think it'd be ridiculous not to push weddings. Really,
I think you've got to choose very carefully as to which ones you attend, though. Because I have attended some. Probably one of the best ones that I did was at Doncaster Racecourse, and in fact, it was the only one that I did there.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. I got loads of referrals from it, loads of jobs from it. Then I've been to a couple where the venues rang me up and said, we're trying to push our venue because they're trying to push their venue to get more people there.
Of course, yeah.
And it's been like dead. There's hardly anybody attending.
We only went to one. And I'll be honest with you, once I got down on one knee or whatever and started planning it, we both knew exactly where we wanted it to be. It's a place called the Art of Gladstone in Stanley Park in Liverpool. It's this glorious sort of old Victorian greenhouse, glass house that they've now done out and they use it for wedding venues. It's a gorgeous building. And we were pretty much set on there. We said that's where we want it to be. And they were having an open day, So we went really to have a good look around the building. And I think there was maybe 4 other couples there in the hour and a half we were there, and there was about 20 odd stalls. There was no magician, but there was florists and photographers, and the DJ was set up and everything. And I think. But how do you know then? How do you know which ones are the ones to do? Because this looked fantastic. All the promo stuff came through, open day, wedding fair, and everything. It looked great. It looked like it was going to be a fantastic day. But we purely went to look at the venue, so we got exactly what we wanted out of it. But I felt so bad for all these. I was thinking, God, this could have been me stood here holding a deck of cards.
I honestly don't know which are the ones to pick, but I think locally, if you want to get in with some of the decent venues, then I would probably suggest going with them. Some of the higher end venues, maybe getting in with them. And then if there's any big places near you, like I would say that the Birmingham, that the NEC has a wedding fair. I mean, I don't know, because I don't.
I would imagine so. Well, the NEC has like a huge one, I think.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
The national wedding industry.
You would imagine that. That would be like one of the places to be.
But then do you think
cost
maybe
you a fortune though?
It's cost a fortune, and also do you think possibly you might end up being a little bit saturated? You might get a little bit lost in the crowd.
Possibly. I don't know. I've never attended it, so I was just throwing it out there.
Most of this is theory because it obviously not
Donny Racecourse.
It's a shame that Aaron's not here because he does quite a few wedding fairs actually, and does quite a lot of wedding magic. But I definitely think going for the premium venues is the way to go with wedding work, because there are two ways you can go with work, isn't it? You can either find the slightly cheaper jobs where there's more of them, and you get in and hit the ground running, or you can go for the premium jobs where there's less of them. I think with weddings, you might as well go for where the money is, because you've only got that sort of 4 months window.
I don't know,
you're only going to be able to get one a day, really. Weddings, maybe two if you do maybe like a photos on a morning somewhere and then maybe pre-evening somewhere on the night. But really, you're probably only going to get one wedding in a day. So there's no point in going for the cheaper work to get more of it.
You can definitely.
Does this make sense?
You can definitely fit to it. You can.
Yeah.
Some people will argue that they can get even more in, but it depends if they're just lucky with the timings of the day.
Well, that's it. It's all dependent on how
it's
all dependent on how they're running their days.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah. Not so much.
I would definitely say too. You could definitely do an evening reception.
So is that so? Yeah. Well, yeah. So you'd walk around the photo time. That sort of like that dead couple of hours where they're having photos took on a morning somewhere.
I prefer the meal personally.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I do the meal time.
Okay. And then wander around an evening.
Yeah.
Evening do somewhere else. Yeah. But then again, like I say, just because they're premium jobs, you're not getting less of them. You're only going to do 2 a day. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah. Well, then you're getting back into pricing and
No point in being a busy fool, is there?
That debate again.
Yeah. All right, good. Okay, next week's masturbate question then is: what 3 effects would you recommend for a beginner just starting out in Magic, and why? You can let us know your thoughts on that via email at info@deceptionconvention.co.uk, or you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/deceptionpodcast. You can find us on Twitter at deceptionmagic. We've got a couple of housekeeping announcements that I wanted to talk to just before we close off today. Geekism Network, which is the network that this show is part of, the website is live, basically. We've been working on it for a couple of months now. You can find us at geekism-network.com. You'll find all the information about the shows, all the people involved with the network, and other things we do there, some blog posts and things like that. So,
who's built this website?
Me.
Looks brilliant.
Thank you very much. Also, if you're interested in having a brilliant website, I'm available for commissions. The other thing is next Wednesday, is International Podcast Day. This is something that's been running for a couple of years now, and it's basically a day to celebrate podcasts in all their glory and to let people know about them. So we want you to tell people about podcasts, not just us. Any podcast you listen to, share the wealth. Rising tide hires all boats. We want to get people involved with podcasting. Even though it's been going for 10 years now, it's still a bit of a niche thing, really.
So any good ones, Bri?
No.
Apart from this one, you mean? Apart from this one, of course.
No, I used to love the Carl Pilkington thing.
Yeah, the XFM, was it? The Ricky Gervais's XFM shows, yeah. Yeah, I listen to all those as well. I'm massive on podcast. Jordan, do you listen to much other than this? And I know you listen to Richard Young's.
Yeah, no.
Is that it? Just the 2 Magic ones? See, I listen to loads.
I've got Scott Mills is on there.
Oh, yeah.
Radio 1, Scott Mills.
I listen to absolutely loads. I listen to genuinely about 4 a day. I spend a couple of hours every day while I'm either clearing up or working out or whatever. I've constantly got earphones in, listening to podcasts. Love them, absolutely love it. I think it's a fantastic way to consume content. Anyway, to celebrate International Podcast Day, we are going to be live streaming the show next week. We're actually going to be live streaming all day on the Geekism Network.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck with that after how it's gone today. This is actually our 4th take today. But we're going to try and live stream. Like I say, Geekism Network is actually live streaming all day. So in the morning we've got Deception Podcast, which will start about 9:30 till about 11:30. In the afternoon, we're doing a Making Games live stream, one of our YouTube channels where we teach people to code video games. We're going to be live streaming that for the afternoon. And then at night time, we have Geekism Weekly, which is our flagship podcast, all things to do with comics, games, tech, things like that. We'll be live streaming that live, and a little bit of gameplay footage with Andrew Coulson and Lucy Myatt. So while we're checking out, all the information is on the geekism-network.com website, and we're doing a big giveaway for Deception as well. We've got a pile of stuff that, to be honest with you, we got from Blackpool in February, and the idea was that we were going to give something away every week, but I can't be arsed going through the box, so we're just going to give the whole box away in one go. There's about 15 DVDs. There's a Starbucks chop cup from Prop Dog, It's fantastic. It's just loads of stuff, and we're just going to give it all away to somebody on the maybe on the live stream, or maybe we'll do it.
Completely forgot about all that stuff.
Yeah, we got loads, didn't we? And we did give a couple of bits away recently, but I've been clearing out and found the box. And I'm like, do you know what? Let's just do a one big massive giveaway. So anyway, next Wednesday there'll be information about it on the Facebook page, everywhere else. That's it. So Brian, are you working on anything at the minute? People got looking forward to anything in the works, or?
I've got a few things in the works. Probably going to be released at Blackpool, but
cool.
I've got a few prototypes.
Right. Okay. So it's all very hush hush at the minute. That's fantastic.
Yeah, a couple of pewter bits.
But you have a stand at Blackpool, don't you?
Yes.
So people are able to find you there. It's in the, I don't know what the room's called, but the smaller dealer hall, aren't you?
Yeah.
Then one of the middle rows.
I forget the name of it. It's the one with the bar. So.
Yeah, the one with the bar, the important one. So let me ask you this. We've gone over a little bit on time, but I'm interested. Why pewter? Where did pewter come from? I mean, not where it comes out the ground, but you know what I mean. What pewter's very much sort of one of your sort of things you work with quite a lot. Where did that come from?
It started off because my other half does like kids shows and stuff, and she said, "If you got anything I can have just to carry in my bag, that is really simple plot for kids to follow and amazing for them, but adults will like it as well." And I thought, hot rod, just the hot rod, and I couldn't find a really nice one. So I thought the nicest ones I could find were like about 30 quid. They were really cheap metal with really cheap gold plate.
I would say they're usually like brass, aren't they? The nicer hot rods are usually brass.
Yeah. And these had little plastic gems, and I thought, well, I can make something better than that. So I started to research it and looked into it. And just produce them in pewter with like proper Swarovski crystals, and it's just extended. I've got more and more things now.
They do look gorgeous, and your shells look gorgeous. About the cyber shells look absolutely fantastic. But was pewter? Is it just something you fell on, or was it something that is easy to work with on a sort of hobbyist level to start off with? Was it, or
a bit of each really? But
I'm assuming you haven't got a foundry in the back, and you thought, well, I might as well use it. It must be pewter must be something that's a little bit easier to work with, or maybe it's more malleable, or
it's something you can. Yeah, I mean it's a lower melt temperature than a lot of metals, but I just like the arts and crafts things. I don't like things to be absolutely perfect.
Yeah,
I like things to be handmade and to be quality, you know. So I put them with Swarovski crystals and the leather wallets, handmade leather wallets. I don't make those. Mark makes those, but so that it's a whole package.
Quality. I've not got a set to hand actually, but I have got them.
Yeah, I know. I think they're lovely, and like you say, the slight, not that they're imperfect in any way, but the slight sort of imperfections you get from handmade products, I think is definitely part of the charm of them. Yeah, fantastic. Where can people find this stuff?
It's on my website, cupsandballsmagic.com or brianwatsonmagic.com.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Jordan, you've got something coming out for Blackpool.
I have.
That's in the works. When are we hearing about this? Are you leaving it a few weeks?
Yet. Yeah. A couple of weeks, yeah.
All right, cool.
Should we tell them the name or not?
It's up to you.
I don't think it's going to give anything away, maybe, is it?
I don't know.
No, we'll leave it then.
All right, okay. We'll talk about that in a few weeks. And I've got nothing in the works. Well, I've got a lot of stuff with geekism, but nothing magic, nothing interesting that way. But so that's it.
New website.
Say again.
You're building me a new website.
I am. I'm building quite a few people new websites actually. I'll have. I'm actually. That doesn't sound like I'm just plugging myself, but the website offering my services as a web designer is on the way as well. So if it is something you're interested in, that'll be up and running hopefully in the next couple of weeks. So, all right, good. So you can find us all individually on Twitter. You can find me. I'm at Jonty Sparrow.
I'm at Jordan O'Grady.
And Aaron, when he's here, is at the Aaron Hayes. Brian doesn't particularly use Twitter, but we can find you on Facebook. People can add you there and have a chat.
Yeah. Get the Facebook /Brian.Watson.magic.
Brilliant. Okay. That's all we've got time for this week. Thanks very much for joining us. And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.